Welcome to Astrology of the Unknown,
a true crime astrology podcast.
I am your host, Joseph Mulholland.
And I'm your other host, William Holloway.
And today we have a special guest. This is her second time on the podcast. We have Miss Ellie.
Hi.
Thanks for having me back.
Of course.
Welcome back.
We got a lot of really good feedback on you last time you were on, so I'm very happy about. And I think that episode was probably, what one was that? Was the very Jean Bonnet Christmas?
Yeah, that was our Christmas episode.
Yeah. People really loved that one.
Yeah. They did.
I just think we like a Christmas episode.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Very special Christmas episode.
Yeah, we're currently as we're recording this, we're in the throes of very strange weather on the East Coast. There's a foot of solid ice on the ground in Baltimore,
which don't miss that.
Interesting. And the city has fumbled the ball very badly on snow removal. So I'm not sure what the weather's where you are, Ellie, but I'm sure that you've also been affected by the weird storm.
Yeah, here in Austin, AISD, Austin Independent School District, had school out Monday and Tuesday because of I don't know, the roads were actually better on Monday, but I think the parking lots and just things, we're just going to give them both days off.
Yeah.
We're not equipped here to handle anything above 50 degrees, it seems. Yeah.
I guess same here.
So,
honestly.
Y'all should be, though. I mean, I would think that y'all get stuff,
It's
you would
crazy.
think.
It's crazy. William knows, but it is just so dumb here.
Every year, they've never dealt with it before. I mean, it makes sense here because it doesn't snow often. It doesn't get cold. They don't really know how to handle it here in the Northwest, but that makes sense. It never made sense to me why Baltimore acts it's brand new every time.
Oh, we've never had this. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm about to just buy a blowtorch so I can just melt it. It just seems the easiest solution. Why don't we do that? Why don't we have little snow removal blowtorches?
You should start a business, a blowtorch, I'll melt your ice business.
Yeah. I'll burn your snow. Snow burners.
No burners.
LLC.
Part of a neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or watching for criminal activity and blowtorching driveway.
Speaking of watching for criminal activity, it's a nice segue into the story we're going to cover today. It's a very weird one. It has been covered pretty extensively on Unsolved Mysteries and a bunch of other, true crime and unsolved shows. There have been a ton of YouTube videos about it. I know because I watched them all. But we're just going to jump right in. And I'm really curious to hear what you both have to say about this. So it was June 3rd, 1995. The place, Oslo, Norway, at the Radisson Blue Plaza Hotel, which is the height of luxury. It was a glass monolith overlooking the city. And at 7:50 p.m., a security guard named Espen Nace knocks on the door of room 2805 in the Radisson Blue Plaza Hotel. The guest, a woman who checked in as Jennifer Fairgate, hasn't provided a credit card or ID. She's been in the room for approximately 3 days, mostly behind a do not disturb sign. Espen knocks, and seconds later, the deafening crack of a gunshot echoes through the heavy door. Instead of rushing in, Espen retreats to get back up. For 15 minutes, room 2805 sits unguarded in a quiet hallway. When security finally enters, they find a woman dead on the bed, a 9mm Browning pistol in her hand. But there's a problem. As if that wasn't already a problem. A dead woman on a hotel bed. There's no proof that Jennifer Fairgate actually exists. There's no ID, no passport. She doesn't even have a toothbrush in the hotel room. And every single label has been meticulously cut out of her clothing. Today, we dive into the locked room mystery that has baffled Interpol for over 30 years. Was it a lonely suicide or a cold-blooded execution by a professional spy? This is The Mysterious Death in Oslo. And the story begins on May 31st, 1995. Jennifer, as we'll call her for simplicity's sake, even though we have no idea if that was her actual name, arrives at the plaza. She was described as elegant, dressed in black, with a short, dark pixie haircut, and speaking fluent English and German. Now, I just want to talk about some of the weird things about her check-in and her stay there. Right off the bat, there was a breach of protocol with her checking in. So in pretty much every five-star hotel, you don't get a key without a credit card. This is because if a guest happens to get room service or heaven forbid they, damage something in the room, they need a credit card on file so that they have a contingency plan to pay for those damages. But somehow she was able to bypass all of it. She didn't show an ID and she didn't prepay. So it's very odd. My hot take conspiracy theory is that whoever checked her in got paid off. That's what I think. I think whoever checked her in,
I think so too.
She handed him $100 or something and was, can you just check me in without, can we just bypass all this? But I have no proof. That's a conspiracy theory. So the other strange thing about her check-in is that she actually registers the room for two people. She registers it for herself and a man named Louis Fairgate. A receptionist later recalls seeing a dark-haired man with her, but Louis, quote in quotes, vanishes into thin air almost immediately. There's also an interesting discovery about her address that because she does supply an address. So she lists her address as Verlaine, Belgium, and investigators later find that the street that she listed actually exists, but the house number doesn't exist, nor does the phone number that she provided. So the phone number is fake, the address is fake. There's also some missing hours. So hotel key card data shows that she was out of the room for nearly 24 hours between Thursday and Friday. Where did she go in Oslo with no money and no known contacts? So those are all the weird things leading up to the crime. So next we're going to talk about the crime scene now. I did give away the spoiler right at the beginning. She was found dead in her hotel room. In fact, an employee heard the gunshot because he was outside of the room. So we're going to talk about the crime scene now. So when police actually arrived, they initially saw what looked like suicide, but the more they looked, the less sense it made. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the gun. We're going to talk about, because the gun was found in her hand, but there were some weird things about the grip. We're also going to talk about some blood splatter mysteries and her wardrobe, which I've already touched on a little bit, but we're going to get into a little bit more detail. So the gun, as I said, was a 9mm Browning. It's considered a soldier's gun because it's powerful and it has a heavy recoil. The serial number was professionally removed with acid. Sketchy at all. This was a technique used by organized crime and intelligence agencies, and I'm sure it's still a process used to this day. She was found with her thumb on the trigger, which is an unnatural grip for a suicide, especially given the gun's kickback. So, and then there was also blood on the walls and the ceiling, but zero blood or gunshot residue on her hands. which begs the question, how do you fire a high caliber weapon into your own forehead and come away with spotless hands? Oh, spoiler alert. She was shot in the forehead. I forgot to mention that part. So yeah, if you are going to, if you're going to shoot yourself in the forehead, you're going to get blood, you're going to get, you're going to have gunpowder on your hands. There's just no way.
It'll be much messier than this was.
Yeah. So I think, do I speak for all of us when I say I don't buy that she killed herself? Do we all feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We're all on the same page. All right. Good. All right. I don't have to keep up that facade of not knowing or not thinking I know. Okay. So the eeriest part about all of this, I said, was her wardrobe. She had 4 jackets, 4 bras, and 1 sweater, no pants, skirts, or shoes other than what she was wearing. And as we mentioned, every label was gone, except for one lone blazer label she seemingly missed. And I couldn't find what that label was, but for whatever reason, she didn't have. I
think it was a fancy Italian label. I want to say it was something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name either, but it was. I when I was reading about it, it was. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So next we're going to talk about some different. So those are the things that were found at the crime scene that have made this such a weird case to piece together, and why it remains unsolved to this day. And next, we're going to talk about some theories. So, former intelligence officers Olga Kaldagger are convinced that this was an execution. Cutting labels out of your clothing is Spy 101 to prevent tracing a body to a country of origin. The lack of toiletries suggests that she was traveling light and ready to burn her identity at a moment's notice. There were 2 shots fired. One into the pillow, possibly to test the gun or a warning to the guard at the door. And then there was the fatal shot. And a Belgian man stayed in room 2804, which was right across the hall from where this murder took place. He checked out the morning that she was found, and years later, a journalist tracked him down. He claimed he was told about the death before it was even discovered. When pressed, he stopped. Yes. And when pressed, he stopped talking. And his name was, the only information I could find was that he was listed as Mr. S. Yeah. So in 2016, Jennifer's body was exhumed. Modern science has been able to give us its first real clues in decades as a result of this. So they did an isotope analysis of her teeth just to get an idea of when she was born. So the isotope analysis of her teeth actually suggests that she was likely born around 1971 in Germany, specifically East Germany. But the mystery remains because despite a full DNA profile, she has no matches to any database. No family has ever come forward. No friend has recognized the sketches. For all intents and purposes, it's like she waltzed into that hotel out of thin air. So Jennifer Fairgate went to incredible lengths to be a nobody, whether she was a spy who failed her mission or a woman who simply wanted to disappear. She succeeded. She was buried in an unmarked grave, a ghost in a black silk blouse. And I do know that there is an open portal to submit tips on the official Unsolved Mysteries website, because I checked there and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So if anybody has any information, you can go there.
Good to know.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all we know about her. And next, I'm just going to hand it over to the two of you, because I'm sure that you might be able to provide some insight or at least, I don't know, unravel the mystery somehow. or at least get it started. Get the tangle started.
Yeah.
We can try.
Totally. I'm going to pull up the charts. We have 3 charts we're going to look at. We're going to start with the hotel check-in. So let me share my screen now. But first, and this is something I wanted to plug a little bit because it's kind of amazing. I don't know, Ellie, if you've heard of this new astrology software called Astrotheoros.
Oh, I have.
So this is a new subscription-based astrology software. It just came out. I just discovered it this week. And the reason I wanted to use it is because some of the features on here are pretty much perfect for this podcast. And so I wanted to kind of use it, but also plug it a little bit. I'm gonna tag them and be, we use your software in our episode.
You said Astrotheoros?
Yeah, Astrotheoros. So Astro, it's a one word, Astro, and then TheOros.
I'll check it out. I like the chart.
Yeah.
I like the visual of it.
Totally.
It's easy to read, and others that, you know what I mean? Some charts,
Yeah.
you're, what the fuck is this? I can't even read this. That was very nice.
All right, so let me just show 2 little features about this, and then we'll get into it. Why this astrology software is so cool. So you can isolate the planet you're talking about. So you can make it really clear. We're talking about this opposition, which is amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, and then it will show you which transits that one you're clicked on are connected to. So it really helps you isolate everything. It's kind of incredible, especially when you're showing a presentation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That way people can really, you're not just circling with your cursor.
Yeah.
You're actually able to, no, that's very cool.
Now, for the coolest part that I love and you'll love is all you have to do is flip the chart and there are the declinations.
Ooh.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. So you get a visual representation of the declinations. I've never seen that before.
I haven't either. That's fucking really cool.
That's really
Isn't
neat.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. I also just said it physically flips. That's nice too.
It's cool. So you can download it on your desktop, which I did, and then you can also download it on your phone and other software that doesn't have I feel a lot of the other astrology software sometimes struggles connecting the phone and the desktop, if you want to share files. But you can create a file on the desktop or on the app, and it'll be on both. Yeah, the app is really cool. You can flip it. The declinations on that one too. So,
how much is it? So it's a subscription. How much is it?
$8 a month.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And this is not sponsored, right?
No, this is not sponsored. Although I wouldn't mind it. I don't know.
I just want the listeners and the viewers to know that we are not just putting in an ad here. Just so you know, William actually wants to plug this because
Yeah, I've never met the developers. I don't know them. The closest is that we follow each other on Instagram. It looks like their account was just created recently too, so they're very new. I don't know a lot about it. I would, if I was sponsored, I could give a better history, but I don't really know a lot about it.
Yeah, well, if the makers are listening,
I'll tag them when we put this
bought.
No, absolutely. All right, cool. So now that we got that, let's look at it. Let me flip it back. Woo, not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let me pull up my notes and make sure I don't miss anything. All right. So the hotel check-in was May 31st, 1995 in Oslo. This chart has a Sag rising, which means Jupiter is the ruler and Jupiter is in the 12th. So it's a domicile. It's conjunct the ascendant. My first thoughts on this is a foreign perpetrator working in secret. Or, yeah.
Okay. That Jupiter being the representing her. Can you
Yeah.
also Mercury at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the catalyst or the perpetrator or whatever being that Gemini descendant
Yeah.
with Mercury right there conjunct the descendant. Both of these are retrograde though.
Mm-hmm.
There is something so backwards about all of this. When I look at
Mm-hmm.
this, seeing them both, that was my first. Well, and then there's another tie that comes. Sorry, when I was doing my notes, I was watching this on a plane ride.
Oh,
And I was kind of the Unsolved Mysteries episode, and I was kind of sleep deprived and kind of drunk. So my notes about it. But I do remember this stood out to me so much that they were both retro. I wonder if this is why it's been very hard to solve this.
Yeah.
Having them both that way.
Yeah.
And they are, opposing. It's loose, but they are opposing one another.
Yeah.
That kind of right there makes me think not suicide, because we've got them making a contact.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
sorry.
also
Kind of hijacked. I'm gonna say, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was going to say it also makes me think of, with Mercury there in the 7th house, makes me think of agreements or contracts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was she there for a job? Because the other thing is that the MC is conjunct the North Node in the 12th. That's not the 12th. That's the 10th. Sorry, I wrote that wrong.
When it's also such a weirdly divided, because
It
there are
is.
exceptions and everything, that can be kind of hard to tell. What the hell house is that?
Yeah, I think because originally I was looking at this with the whole house system by accident. So that might be why some of my notes get the houses wrong. But the moon is sextiling or trining the nodes, right? Right? Did I get that right? Am I looking at the... Yes, it is. Okay, sorry.
Light up the moon.
Right. So trining the nodes and the MC makes me think, again, work. She's there for work, kind of.
Yeah, and she's there for work. Clearly, whether on purpose or not, unseen, maybe because of the Jupiter in the 12th house.
Or spying,
That seems very, very possible here, or doing, at least at the very least, doing something, somehow going unnoticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I did look up, or tried to look up, was I wanted to see if any other crimes happened in Oslo, in or around Oslo.
Oh, good idea.
That involved murder or any other sort of suspicious activity, and there was nothing reported. So that adds even more of a layer of what the fuck.
Weren't there the Oslo Accords going on during this period of time? The secret, and that nobody knew about them?
That's true.
Yes.
That is true.
That's not a crime necessarily, but that was one thing that was going on. That only stands out with the spy thing, because if you're, that theory, that is something where I could totally see a government being, hey, you need to go check this out.
Oh, that is true.
And it made me wonder, with Jupiter opposing the sun, which it does in all 3 charts we're going to look at.
All right.
It makes me feel, I'm just visualizing Jupiter spying on the sun. It's someone in power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She's trying to, I don't know. There's definitely, with everything pretty much in domicile except for Mars and Saturn, it just makes me think of wealth and power, people on top, right? Yeah.
And it definitely, whatever the, say, a perpetrator, I will say this, going from this chart, having that Mercury, conjunct the descendant in its, in the sign that it rules, it makes me, and in the seventh house, it's very much they were on their turf
Yeah.
in some way. They were on, yeah.
Yeah. And she's, because another thing with Jupiter and Sagittarius, is someone traveling, someone from far away, a foreign national or, yeah.
Her name, it kind of, and maybe this is my ignorant American coming out, but the name Jennifer Fairgate, that does not sound German. That does not sound Belgian. That sounds English or American. That sounds some direct ass English or American name. I don't know, that something about that strikes me. I don't quite know why, but I'm like, why that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was
so weird.
It was a choice, right? I think it was just for whatever reason, that's the name she was going by. Because I want to say that also, weren't there discrepancies in how she spelled the last name on different?
I want to say one had an Fair.
Yeah.
The other one was Fere or something. That there was a difference.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Should we look at the next chart so we can see the progression of the story? See where things end up in the next chart?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is when she got room service, because this was the last time anyone saw her alive that we know of. All right. So
I've got to say this one to me feels more death related.
yes. It does. And with the moon at 29 degrees Cancer in the 8th house, it's kind of something is not quite complete, but a job is coming to a completion or something is getting ready to be finalized.
Very much. And in the 8th house of this chart.
And in the 8th house. Yeah. And then
this was the 2nd of June. This was after she had done her little 20 to 24 hour being away, correct?
Yes. Because it was the night before she died.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, so she may be, it's coming back from a long day of whatever it was she was doing. And also it's interesting because, it's a Scorpio rising chart, and we've got, so the chart ruler or representing her is Mars in the 9th house, and then here again, so this is interesting. All right. So in the first chart, the chart ruler was opposing Mercury, right? There was a Mercury conversation happening. Now the chart ruler is ruled by that Mercury action, right? Or doing the job. Because here we are, the moon was aspecting the nodes before, and now Mars is aspecting the nodes in the same way. So it just feels, before was getting ready for a thing, a contract. Now it's the work is being done. The 9th house, she might have traveled really far that day.
Could have. I think that feels possible here, that she could have.
Yeah.
Can you look up Venus here as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were to go with a catalyst or perpetrator or whatever, now we've got that descendant in Taurus descendant with Venus right there by it as well. Also at home in Taurus. It again, and I know it's in the 6th house in this chart, but it's being on on somebody else's turf.
Yeah.
And they are comfortable there.
Very much.
Also in this one, that the midheaven in Virgo with, ruler not the ruler, but on the 10th house, Mercury being the ruler of the 10th house in this chart in the 7th. This feels rather authoritative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
That could possibly point to if this was related to something in if she was a government spy of some sort. Maybe she was a spy for an authoritarian government or an authoritarian regime.
Yeah.
Maybe she
Possibly.
was a Russian asset.
Maybe.
There's definitely a government authority power that feels involved here.
Yeah.
Yes. Do we want to briefly say what the Oslo Accords were? Because I, to be perfectly honest, I don't remember exactly what that was all about. I know it was involving Palestine and Israel, correct?
Well, let me get I can pull up
Let
the
me-
Wikipedia on that exactly.
I'm doing it right now.
Thanks, y'all.
So just a brief explanation of the Oslo Accords for listeners who might not totally understand or know what that was. So the Oslo Accords were a series of agreements between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, or the PLO, aimed at establishing a framework for peace and Palestinian self-governance in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. So yeah, so it was very much linked to the Middle East.
Okay.
And I want to say, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say what they were doing in May and June of 95 was, at the time, wasn't really advertised. They weren't really,
Right.
yeah.
So there were two different waves of the Oslo Accords. The Oslo I Accord was established in 1993, and this initial agreement established mutual recognition between Israel and the PLO. It outlined a framework for Palestinian self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip, and set the stage for further negotiations on final status issues such as borders, the status of Jerusalem, and the right to return for Palestinian refugees. And the Oslo II Accord, which was established in 1995, was a follow-up agreement that expanded upon the first accord, detailing the division of the West Bank into areas A, B, and C, which designated varying levels of Palestinian and Israeli control. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it was kind of like a two-parter, but the second part, and I think the Oslo II Accord, I think, was a little more controversial because it was basically like divvying up control of certain areas, whereas the first one didn't really do that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Definitely sounds like the kind of thing that I would imagine many different alphabet-like agencies around the world would have their people
Yeah.
going to check out.
Yeah. Anything with Israel and Palestine, it's
Hot button.
a hot button. Other countries want to know what's going on because they all want a specific outcome.
Yeah.
With that that has yet to come to fruition, and as we know, and so yeah, there's many reasons why a government or a country would want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
People
Okay. Should
talk
we?
about her being possibly having been an assassin. I wonder if it's possible she was just like a lurker and got burned.
Yeah, I thought
Say
about
more.
that too.
What do you mean by a lurker?
Like maybe not sent by a government to actually carry out any kind of plot, right? Or kill anybody. She's just there to observe and watch.
Like recon?
But got burned somehow.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do we want to look at the actual event chart now, the death chart?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So June 3rd at 7:50 p.m. is when the gunshot was heard, when the event happened, most likely. So this chart gives us a Scorpio ascendant, again, the last chart. So Mars in Virgo is representing Jennifer. Again, it is aspecting the nodes. In the first house, we have Pluto retrograde, which was actually stationing to go direct. So it was very potent at that moment. And, I think Pluto in the first can often be related to things underground crime or powerful organizations, right?
Yeah.
And then we have Jupiter there, which in the past has represented her, but in the first house, so it's still connected to her. And again, a foreign perp working in secret.
Yeah. This. Yeah. So I
And
was
then
kind
we
of
have-
staring. No, I've seen this one before, but I'm just kind of staring at it again.
Yeah. Well, with this new beautiful software by Astrotheoros, I mean, how can you not?
Yeah. Yeah, it is very pretty. It is very pretty.
Yeah. And then, we have the moon in the 9th, along with Mars, and the moon is ruled by the sun. So I think that's interesting because, I mean, we still have that Jupiter sun opposition.
Uh-huh.
So I keep feeling the sun is important. I keep thinking about powerful people with the sun. But then it's interesting that now the moon, whereas in the beginning, the moon was in Cancer. So was in good condition. And not that the moon in Leo isn't in good condition, but ruled by that sun that she's been spying on makes me feel the sun won.
Yeah, and that moon is also intercepted here. That Leo is intercepted in that 9th house, which kind of throws sort of a cover over her, if you will. And by that I mean harder to see what all's actually going on here.
Right.
That sun, though, you were saying spying on powerful people. Yeah.
I'm ruled by by Mercury in the 8th. It's a death contract or something.
They don't feel, I've got to say, it doesn't feel friendly.
Not at all.
It
No.
doesn't feel a friendly situation.
Mm-mm. Well, let's look at the descendants. So the killer, again, Taurus, again, Venus in Taurus. Now this time right on the descendant. Before it was right underneath, and now it's right on top of that descendant.
Which also kind of gives them some cover too, in a sense. With the shadow, that where the descendant is, there could be shadows. It's when the sun is setting in the sky, there are shadows on the ground. You kind of
Smart.
some cover on them as well.
Yeah, good point. And also, Venus again in domicile, and I think that can tell us that the killer was skilled, confident, top of their game kind of thing. And then Taurus, there's a patience and the obsession with Taurus, right? That being kind of stuck, that fixed energy. So it kind of makes me think of methodical or precise intent. It kind of makes me think of someone waiting in a closet, waiting for the right moment. And they could be there for 48 hours,
Well, they can
wearing a diaper.
For that.
Well, do we want to look at the asteroids and the fixed stars?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Loosely conjunct Mars at 4 degrees in Virgo is the asteroid. We've seen it before, Melancholia, and that can signify deep depression, contemplation of death, internal conflict. Yeah. So that threw me off a little because I'm okay. Well, now we're talking about someone who's depressed, but that could all be part of it, right? Who wants to do that kind of work? Maybe there's a death wish inside of you. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you have to maybe, I don't know, think that that's possible, I would imagine.
Right. You have to accept that.
Yeah, you'd have to at least come to terms with that being a possibility.
Totally. Okay, and then conjunct Neptune, there's actually 2 asteroids. The first one we've seen before, Laverna, deals with underworld dealings, organized crime, and crimes involving theft or financial crimes. And then the other asteroid is called Mercator, and that can do with business dealings, issues revolving around transactions of illicit goods, or trafficking of some kind.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this one, probably the most important of the asteroids, is conjunct the moon very tight at 11. Yeah, the moon's at 11 Leo. And conjunct the moon is an asteroid called Govert, which represents governments and involvement of state entities. So the asteroids also, and we can't see this, but this asteroid's also parallel to the descendant and Venus. So everyone involved here is working with the government or governments of some kind. Yeah.
Since parallels function in a similar way to conjunctions, yeah, they're all
mixed up in the same stuff. Well, here I've got a couple fixed stars here. So again, Neptune had all the fixed stars and asteroids attached to it. So conjunct Neptune, there's a fixed star called Terabellum, and that can suggest power, strength, and a cunning nature. And conjunct Jupiter in Sag in the first house at 10 degrees is a fixed star called Han, H-A-N, and it denotes skill in uncovering hidden matters, especially when there is a heavy Scorpio influence, which there is. Scorpio rules the first house here. So it can indicate dishonest friendships and lack of moral principles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
There's something here with that first chart with both rulers being retrograde, right? Both the ruler, the ascendant, and the descendant, Jupiter and Mercury, and the fact that they're opposing one another. There is this, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to word it. I'm not censoring, but I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to say it.
Okay.
It's thinking you're on the same side as somebody else. They think you're on the same side as they are, but you're really working at opposite. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know exactly how to fucking say that.
I was going to say one of my, because I did see a couple relationship stuff come up and it started making me think of that guy. And what if this was a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation where they were together, but really she didn't know that he was working for the other side?
Yeah, or he didn't know she was. There's something about it. It's neither side knew fully what the other was doing. There's something about that. There's something fucky with that.
Yeah.
Maybe whatever it was that they were trying to, if this was this is extreme conspiracy theory, but what if it was a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation? They were both given the same directive from whoever it was that assigned this mission, for lack of a better word, but they were maybe debriefed separately and they were both told to kill the other person. So that there was whatever information was uncovered, only one person knew about it. Maybe it was information that required two people to discover what was going on, but then at the end, one of them had to kill the other. And maybe they were both told to kill each other. And one of them just got around to it before the other one did, because like they said, dead men tell no secrets. So
yeah. Another idea I thought would be like, because of the melancholia situation was like making me think, what if the reason she was offed is because she was a liability because she was depressed? And they're like, we can't have like this sad person here.
Or somebody that didn't seem 100% stable, or like they might. Yeah, I could see how something like that could be a liability.
Yeah. So there's one more fixed star that I have And it is conjunct the ascendant in Scorpio, and it is north scale. So this fixed star suggests wealth, privileges, sharp intellect, success in politics, warfare, writing, violence, and melancholy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, and it kind of fits with what I was just saying about, like, you know, maybe she was really good at what she did, but, and I'm sure this happens all the time. It's like once something stops being as valuable, and maybe a liability, then you got to get rid of it, right?
Yeah, I could. And the guy that she checked in with is even interesting because, like, the stuff that I read about him, it's like some people acted like they didn't even know that she came in with somebody or some shit. Like, all
Mm,
who is this guy? I don't know. I think that that's weird. But some people claim that they saw him with her or something when she checked in.
Yes. Yep. And that his name was Lewis.
Yes.
And that he just kind of like disappeared after they checked in.
yeah.
This whole case would have been solved if the security guard would have just entered the room the second he heard the gunshot go off, because he would have been able to determine whether it was a suicide or somebody was in the room.
Well, if someone was in the room, he probably would have been shot next. So,
Right, but at least in that case, we would have known that it wasn't a suicide.
right.
If it was
But
a
it would still be a
suicide,
mystery.
right, but at least we would know that it wasn't a suicide, and
Yeah.
and that there was somebody responsible for it, because we would can't kill yourself and then shoot somebody else.
Yeah.
And also,
I mean, there's no way it was a suicide. No
Yeah.
way. And I didn't see any
But it also-
asteroids saying anything about that because I definitely looked that up to see if there were,
Yeah.
I mean, melancholia, yes, that was there, but that's not suicide. There's,
but also why would they, what am I trying to ask? I'm wondering how the person who shot her, if that was what happened, which we can all agree it did, I wonder, how did that person escape? Did they climb out a window? Did they just leave the room?
Maybe they went to the room across the hall.
There you go. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. That seems
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it necessarily was that person, right? But maybe they were staying there and they just literally went back. I don't know how many people were staying on that
Yeah.
floor, but that seems the easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it could have been that whoever shot her talked to the person across the hall and was, I'm going to need to duck out and come over here.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how he knew that about the death before it happened, and maybe that's why he's being super weird and not talking to anybody. I don't know. He's whoever this person is, he has to know something, and whatever it is that he knows, it has to be, he must be scared to divulge that information enough to the point where he's not even giving his real identity and talking to anybody. That seems strange to me.
Maybe Mr. F did it.
That's what that is a thought that has crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But also the fact that you hear a gunshot go. I mean, okay, I could be wrong about this. I realize that people, they don't, their gun laws are different than here. I don't believe the security guard was armed. I don't believe he
Probably not.
So I get him not wanting to, but do they not have walkie-talkies? Could he not, or whatever they had back then? He couldn't have radioed down to somebody, or I don't know. There's something about that. You hear a gunshot and then you take off. There's something about that that feels very strange to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. It because it's giving an opportunity for somebody to get away.
Well, it
Right.
seems with crimes in places Norway where crime that isn't common. So it just, I've seen so many cases, whether it be in Norway or the Netherlands or something. And it's whenever there's a big crime, the cops just never seem to really know how to handle it. They botch things constantly. They're not thinking about the crime scene. And I feel like the security guard kind of falls in that category of,
Yeah.
just not the best because, I don't know. I'm just picturing an old man, who's just, let me shuffle back down to, and let me find somebody to tell, I can just see this whole, almost like David Lynch, everything in slow motion, taking forever,
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the sex worker theory? I have read several about that she could have been a sex worker, and that's why she was using an alias. That's why she was at a hotel.
Yeah. But then the clothing with all the stuff, with all the labels clipped out, and that, yeah.
I agree with you on that. That's a very, I think to myself, I mean, I certainly have some clothes that maybe don't have the tags because they're annoying, but not all of them. Not it would be a very weird thing for those to be the only clothes that I took with me on a trip.
Yeah.
And it did say that, it didn't say that the tags were just haphazardly ripped out. It said they were meticulously removed. I don't know what that means, but I don't know what that looks like.
Well, they were expensive. You wouldn't want to rip those.
Yeah.
You'd want to, what I mean?
He or somebody probably took a thing to remove the thread from the tag.
Yeah.
Totally. And they had former intelligence agents or former spies. I don't know what the word I'm looking for exactly, but that is a common practice.
Yeah.
When you're in that field.
Yeah.
So that to me kind of gives it away almost. I don't know.
Well, and also the fact that she's never been identified, because I know that there are, certain things even here in the US where they send you and you're on your own if you get caught, or you get, they're not going to claim you. They're not going to come save you. You are quite literally. So I wonder if this was something some kind of situation that. And
yeah, maybe. Well, I'll say I don't feel confident that I know what happened here. Where in the last episode we did, I feel we actually solved that one. It might be the only one we actually solved, but I don't feel we solved this one. Things that I am confident about. She didn't kill herself. I'm pretty confident she's some kind of spy of some kind. I don't know what, right? I do think the Oslo Accords might be part of it. I think the real mystery is, why was she killed? And that's something I don't think we're ever going to know exactly.
Yeah.
Right? What do you guys think?
I think it was a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation. I think it was, I said earlier, I think it was maybe two agents of some sort that were sent to Oslo on some sort of recon mission, some sort of very sensitive recon mission. And they were both given separate instructions to kill the other person upon receiving that information. And whoever her counterpart was succeeded in completing his assignment. Let's just say that. That's what I think.
I'm actually kind of on that same page with that opposition in the first chart, and them both being retrograde, and then both there's something very backwards or not on the up and up here beyond whatever it was they were doing.
Yeah.
I feel it's also between them.
Yeah.
So something along those. My question is who is she working for? That's what I'm
right. That's the biggest mystery that we probably will never know.
Yeah.
Maybe we will one day. I don't know. But yeah, honestly, the Mr. and Mrs. Smith theory was one of the first things I really thought of after looking at the astrology, and that just seems so Hollywood, but it's
does.
enough, you know.
It does, but astrologically, it does kind of fit here.
Yeah.
It does feel it does.
And with Venus being involved a lot with this, it does feel relational, right?
Yeah.
Could be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we're not ever going to know, but I would to know from where were they? Cause where were they working for? Who?
Right.
Yeah.
One day we'll know. Maybe.
I know that this is a little off topic, but I just saw, and this is really sad, that Catherine O'Hara died today.
Oh,
Yeah. I just saw it. Just
Oh my God.
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Not that
Oh no, that's so sad.
Yeah. I just got a Google alert about it.
Oh, she did.
So yeah.
Right.
I know.
How'd she die?
Oh. I didn't look into it because we were in the middle of recording. So I was oh no.
Damn. Oh, that's so sad. All right.
What's your favorite Catherine O'Hara movie?
Oh my God. Everything she ever did with Christopher Guest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's the best part of Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
Best part of Schitt's Creek too,
Schitt's
honestly.
Creek. Oh, she had so much more to give us.
I know.
just says a brief illness. It says she died on 30th at her home in Los Angeles after a brief illness. It doesn't go into, as of now, it doesn't go into more detail as to what.
Damn.
That's too bad.
I know. Sorry to end the
That's okay.
podcast. I mean, this was such an uplifting topic already.
I know, right? Well, do we have any final thoughts before we go?
This one is just
No.
weird.
Yeah.
This one's very bizarre. And even more bizarre that nobody has ever been like, oh, she looks some chick I went to high school with, or
Right.
or oh, she looks, she looked like my babysitter. I don't know. Nothing. It's just interesting how there's
Nothing.
Yeah.
literally is what you said, the white shadow, the ghost.
Well, didn't solve this one, but
Some ideas.
we have some pretty good ideas about the circumstances. So I feel we did a good job here.
Until next time, just remember the stars are watching, and now so are you.
Is that your new tagline?
I don't know.
Okay. Thanks so much for being here, Ellie. It's so fun when you're here. You'll be on
thank
again.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'd love to be here whenever you want me to be.
Awesome. Cool. Well, bye, y'all.
Wait, I have one more. It's okay. Do you like this one better?
Oh yeah, tell me. Tell us.
Until next time, keep your feet on the trail and your eyes on the stars.
That too.
Yeah.
Or till next time, just remember the universe knows the truth. It's just waiting for us to find it.
You know what we should do is we should write down a whole bunch of different taglines and get one of those lottery balls. And then at the end, you just roll it and then you pick one out. And that's going to be the tagline for that episode.
That idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can keep them coming. I've been thinking about it a lot. So, all right. Anyway,
Awesome.
bye, y'all.